right, I changed out the fitting. That was the problem from the last video. Remember, we had about 64 PSI here. We had 64 PSI because the depressor down in there was not hitting the pintle, the valve core in the middle, depressing it, allowing us to correctly read our suction line. So I think it was this one. Was it this one? Shit. Oh, they're both identical. Okay, I brought over 2 extras just in case one day I was going to swap again. But the first one I choose, and this was like an eBay or Amazon aftermarket. This is not a Yellow Jacket. Usually Yellow Jacket and Master Cool, you have your best success. And then this was one of my cheap eBay ones I got, and I find out this one works pretty damn good. So there we go. We got 36 degrees. Here's our suction line. We have 36 degrees at this point. Do I have these backwards? I'm gonna just die if I do. Am I a moron here? I think I am. I have the suction line and I got them backwards. Yes, I do. I got to move those around. So my suction line, my discharge line is 76 degrees. My suction line is 64 degrees. Do not look at these because these are now very messed up because I have the clamps backwards. Our outside ambient temperature, we're 70 degrees going in at that point. Let's see what our temperature is over here at the front. So let's see, we got 70 degrees. I could feel that's pulling really strong there. So at this point, let's take the temperature going right here. And you can see the temperature going out. So this is the temperature in the shop at this point, right at the sensor. You can see the temperature going down. And let's see, should go down to like 60 some degrees, 60, 65. We're still going down. So this is the actual shop temperature, 64. So we're around somewhere around 64, 63, 62. That's the shop temperature. Remember, we're 70 degrees over there. Well, you go, if this is in the shop, how can we have 62 degrees right here and 70 degrees right there? Because we have a condenser that's 74 degrees, right? 78 degrees. The condenser is 78 degrees. And our outside ambient temperature is 62 degrees. So you have 62 degrees and there's 72 degree refrigerant going through, and it's actually hotter up here, going through this condenser. So the 62 degree air is picking up heat, and when it comes out the other side, it's hotter. Well, we have a hot radiator. This radiator is like 140 degrees, 160 degrees right now. Then we take that, let's say it's 80 degrees coming out the other side of this condenser. Now we take that 80 degree air and we pass it through liquid glycol through the radiator. That's 160 degrees. Now that 160 degrees is being shot out by the 2 fans back here, and it's coming this direction. And it's going over the exhaust manifold, picking up a little more heat. Now this air is spreading out over the engine. So there's 62 degrees out here. There's 100 and some degrees air right here, and they're mixing together and they're coming over there at 70 degrees. So let me show you this. Let's prove this. I can't fit it down here. I don't think. No, I can't fit it there. But what we can do is we can take the temperature of the air. See my probe right there? We can take the temperature of the air coming out of the fan, if I don't hit the fan, and look at the temperature. We're over 80 degrees. We're hitting 90 degrees. This is the temperature of the air right there. Oops, I just touched the fan. Don't want to kill my sensor. These are like $120. Oh, touched the fan again. Okay, so we got 100 degree air there. Now let's see on top of the, right here at this point where the air is flowing over, let's look at the temperature of that air, and the vibration is taking this off of there. So there's the air. We dropped to 96 degrees. So at this point, right there, the air right there is 96 degrees. See it? Now, let's look at, remember the shop air temperature is 62 degrees. Now let's look at the air right here. This would kind of be like if we were sitting on top of the plastic up here on the grill, not being down there. This is the air at this point. It is 93 degrees. So 62 degrees shop air mixed with the hot air coming from the radiator and the hot exhaust manifold, and we're 93 degrees at this point here. So this has a heavy suction and it's pulling in like this from here, cool air from here, but it's also pulling in warm air and they're mixing. So let's see what that 93 degrees air from here and the 62 shop degree air. So we go down, we're now sitting on top of the filter, the cabin air filter, as you can see. And I forgot to turn on my light, but that was the cabin air filter. That's where the sensor is now. So now let's see what the temperature is. 89 degrees. The temperature of the air going into the vehicle at that point is now 80 degrees. Remember, it was before the radiator got really hot and the engine got hot, it was 70 degrees. Now it's 89 degrees going in over the cabin. So that's the true temperature going over your evaporator core. What else can I show you? Can I get this? Because here we're at the other end of the heat exchanger picking up heat from right here, which is 81 degrees. So if I could take this, let's put this right here, and let's take this properly. Let's take it off of, I'm gonna get my other sensor over here. So this is actually, this one here was not supposed to be on the high side line, it's supposed to be on the suction. So if we put it on the suction right here, okay, we're on the suction right there. Now we could look at our superheat. Now we can look at our suction line temperature. Okay, so now our suction line temperature, it's 77 degrees right here. 36 degrees superheat at this point, because it's picking up the heat energy that is absorbed through the suction line through the internal heat exchanger. Now, I'm gonna use this as something to stand on. I'm gonna see if I could reach down there. Let's take this, suction line temperature. And I want to make sure it's not pointing towards, the sensor's not pointing towards the hot exhaust. Okay, so now I'm taking the temperature right out of the evaporator. You can see it dropping, and you'll see our superheat go down a little bit. Not a lot, it's going. And you can see suction line temperature and superheat slowly start to drop together because we're having all that added heat energy at this point because of the internal heat exchanger. Look at what our subcooling is. At that point, that's where it enters out of the condenser right here. So by the time it gets to the internal heat exchanger, look at where our subcooling is. Oh, yeah, idiot. Okay, now look at where our subcooling is. Now we got the right gas. It was on 134. This is a YF vehicle. Little difference. We're at near zero superheat, subcooling. Okay, can I get to the other side? Now, I want to take this and I want to put it on the line coming out. There we go. It's cool. I am now on the liquid line coming out of the internal heat exchanger. Now look at our subcooling. Well, it didn't change much, but it changed a little bit. Negative supposedly you can't have negative, but that's what the job of the internal heat exchanger is to cool down the liquid refrigerant before it goes inside. We are 56 degrees out of the dash. Why? Well, I know it's about 90 degrees. Yeah, it's 90 degrees going in. That's only a 40-degree drop. No, that's less than a 40-degree drop. That's like a 34-degree drop. Not that great, Honda. God, why does Honda suck? If this was a Toyota, it'd be colder. But Hondas kind of suck for their HVAC. I think all the people who bought Honda should get their money back. Or at least go get a Toyota and take care of the problem. Okay, we're going to put this on recycle. So we're going to recycle the cold air in here, because right now it's getting 90-degree air fed over the evaporator. I got to pull this out of there because it's going to hit the door. It's going to stop the door from shutting. So let's pull that out of there. And we're going to pull off the interior of the car. You can see the temperature dropping already right now because I'm outside in the ambient. Let's hit the recycle and recycle. So the door out is closing and it just shut off that 90-degree air that's coming in over the evaporator. We now have what's inside here. What's that, like 58 degrees or so on the interior cabin. So now we'll see some changes. There goes our, we're down to 54 degrees, 54. Out here it's 66 degrees. Let's take the temperature of the interior of the car. So we're taking the interior temperature where it feeds back up underneath right here, because this is where it pulls air from, is right underneath the glove box. So let's see what our temperature is right there. And we've gone down to 52 degrees. And the interior of our vehicle is 67 degrees. That is our interior. Check that out. Look at that superheat. It looks like it's starving. Look at that subcooling. It looks like it's starving, but I filled it back up to factory level of the sticker that came on the hood. But if I were to look at that, I would say this vehicle is starving for refrigerant. Why is it starving for refrigerant? I gotta go look back on that hood. I don't like the way that one looks. The Honda suck. I wonder if there's a, oh, this is too new. It probably doesn't have a TSB. But I'm gonna check the any TSBs on the air conditioning, see if they had any update on the refrigerant charge. Because to me, that looks like a, with that superheat like that, with the superheat like this, subcooling like that, even when I had it over here, it was near zero. It appears, now this is a problem with a freaking variable displacement compressors. You can't really go over off superheat and subcooling, and I've proved that many times in many videos. Let's see here. I'm gonna give it a few RPMs. Let's go up to about 2,800 RPMs. And see, I'm moving the RPMs up. I just went to about about 1,800 RPMs. And look, nothing is happening to the temperature coming out of that. Didn't even bleep. Let's go back to pressures. There's our pressures. See that little blip right there? That's when I took it from idle and I went up to 1,800 RPMs, and if you look right there, it's 34 degrees, and you look right there, it's 35 degrees. So by going from idle to 1,800 RPMs, there's only a 1 degree temperature difference. That's it. And at this mark right here is where I hit the throttle, and I went from idle at 93 PSI. Now that we're at 1,800 RPMs, that you can see right there, we're at 1,800 RPMs. We're at 91 PSI. That's all she wrote, dude. All right. So we're gonna, there might be another video after this. I'm gonna look up TSBs on this. But from the hood label indicator for the refrigerant charge, this is fully charged. And take a look at, this is a variable displacement compressor. You got to remember that. take a look at this. This is so we have superheat at 44 degrees. How do we have a negative 3 subcooling. Every indicator that this thing is starving for refrigerant, but it's a variable displacement compressor, and the ambient temperature sensors are picking up that it's only 60 some degrees outside. The cabin is satisfied, it's really cool. It really messes with your numbers because the compressor is being told what to do by the computer, not by how much refrigerant you keep squirting in. And this is how these guys in all these areas who don't read and don't know, they go, man, I really got to see that high side go up. And they're going to go like this. They're going, oh man, 50 degrees, that's not cold enough. Let's add more refrigerant in there. Then it burns up the compressor. Oh, customer, I found your problem. Your compressor is bad. We don't like these variable displacement compressors. In our country, we throw in fixed piston compressors. So they just burnt up the customer's variable control compressor, and to fix the problem, they put in a fixed piston, and now it gets colder and they think they did the right thing. No, they're the ones who caused the compressor to burn up in the first place by not understanding the computer is taking over and changing the temperatures and the pressures for it, what it wants to see. All right, I'll be back with you guys, and this is the life of automotive and HVAC and charging on cold days. See you guys.